If I recall correctly, I've administered naloxone at least a couple of dozen times.
Yes, I've had it used on myself, the nasal. And when I came to, I was confused and I was embarrassed. I didn't know what was going on. I was sneezing, upset stomach, nausea. But I realized that if they needed to do it to save my life.
Folks who use, and those are people who are near and dear to my heart, that's why everyone should carry a naloxone kit, because someone you love is a drug user as well.
It's super important for folks to carry naloxone because naloxone is a life-saving medication. It's an emergency life-saving medication, and it matters how quickly you use it. So if it's on hand and someone overdoses, they can be revived, and it can be a really minimally impactful event. But if it's not there at the scene, if it's not with the person or with somebody nearby, any delay can cause, at the minimum, irreparable brain damage, but at the worst, someone can die. And it's a preventable death.
Naloxone, also known by the brand name Narcan, is a medication that can temporarily reverse an opioid overdose. Naloxone is safe and easy to use. First, let's talk about what opioids are and what an opioid overdose looks like. Opioids include medications prescribed by doctors to treat pain. They might also be taken or used to get high. All opioids carry the risk of sleepiness, drowsiness, and difficulty breathing to the point where people's lives are in danger. Examples of opioids include oxycodone, Percocet, morphine, codeine, heroin, and fentanyl, although there are many more. Opioids can be found in non-opioid street drugs, including uppers like cocaine, due to contamination. If someone purchases heroin, it could be laced with a stronger opioid such as fentanyl. Using opioids can sometimes lead to an overdose. Signs that a person has overdosed can include: the person's body may be very limp, they can't stay awake, walk, or talk, or they have lost consciousness. They are unresponsive even if you shout or pinch them. They are breathing slowly or not at all. Their fingernails or lips may look purple or blue. They may be making snoring or gurgling sounds. When you look into their eyes, their pupils, the black center of the eye, will be very small, almost pinpoint. Their face may look pale or feel clammy. They may also vomit. There are 5 simple steps to respond to an opioid overdose. Step 1. Shout and shake. Step 2. Call 911. Step 3. Give naloxone. Step 4. Rescue breathing and/or chest compressions. Step 5. Reassess. The first step is to shout and shake. If you suspect someone has overdosed, check if they respond to noise or touch. Perhaps they're simply sleeping. For noise, shout their name if you know them, or yell, "Hey, are you okay?" You can pinch or shake their shoulders, rub your knuckles up and down on their breastbone or under their nose, or pinch their earlobe. Say what you're going to do before you do it in case they are still conscious. If the person responds to any of these actions, keep an eye on them. Do not leave them alone in case the drugs they took have not fully taken effect. They could still overdose. If the person does not respond to shouting or shaking, check their breathing. See if their chest and stomach are rising and falling, or hold the back of your hand over their mouth or nose to feel their breath. If the person is breathing, put them in the recovery position to keep their airway clear and open, and to prevent choking if they vomit. To place the person in the recovery position, place the arm nearest you at a right angle to their body with the palm facing upwards. Lift their knee to a 90-degree angle and roll them onto their side. When you're finished, the top arm should be supporting the head to keep their airway open, and the bent leg should be on the floor to stop them from rolling over too far. Call 911. Naloxone does not last as long as most opioids, and the person could overdose again, so it is critical to get help so that the person receives continued care. After you call 911, continue to step 3 while you wait for help to arrive. After calling 911, give the person naloxone. Naloxone temporarily reverses the effect of an opioid overdose so that the person can start breathing again. Under Canada's Good Samaritan Drug Overdose Act, if you seek medical help for someone who has overdosed, no one at the scene will be charged for possessing or using drugs. There are 2 different types of naloxone. Injectable naloxone, where naloxone is injected into the arm or leg using a needle, or nasal spray naloxone, where naloxone is sprayed into the nose. Both types of naloxone are effective. Carry the type that you are the most comfortable with or have access to. Let's review how to use the nasal naloxone kit. In each kit, you will find 2 doses of nasal spray naloxone inside sealed packages, a pair of non-latex gloves, a breathing barrier, an insert with instructions, and an identifier card showing that you have been trained to carry naloxone and the expiry date of the naloxone. Lay the person on their back and put on your gloves. Wipe their nose clear if necessary, and tilt their head back while supporting their neck. Take one of the naloxone sprays out of the package. Place your 2 fingers on each side of the nozzle and your thumb on the plunger. Do not place your thumb on the plunger until you're ready to administer to avoid releasing naloxone. Place the tip of the nozzle into one of the person's nostrils as far as you can, or until your fingers touch the base of their nose. Press the plunger firmly until the naloxone is released. Naloxone is absorbed through the mucous membrane and can be used even if the person is not breathing. Note the time or set a timer, as another dose may be required. The other type of naloxone is injectable naloxone. In this kit, you will find 2 ampules of naloxone, 2 ampule snappers, 2 syringes, 2 alcohol swabs, a pair of non-latex gloves, a breathing barrier, an instructional insert, and an identifier card. Here's how to use injectable naloxone. Put on your gloves. Holding the ampule upright, swirl or tap it so the liquid falls down into the bottom. Holding the top of the ampule with the supplied ampule snapper or alcohol pads, now take the bottom end with the thumb and forefinger of your opposite hand and snap the ampule away from you. Remove a syringe from its packaging and take the protective plastic cap off the needle. Insert the needle into the naloxone ampule and pull up the plunger so the naloxone enters the syringe. With the needle pointed in the air, tap the syringe so any air bubbles float to the top. Slowly push the plunger to remove the air bubbles. Don't worry, a little bit of air will not hurt the person. Insert the needle at a 90-degree angle into the large muscle of the thigh or upper arm. You can inject someone through their clothing if you need to. Push down on the plunger until all the naloxone is gone. Dispose of the needle and ampule in a plastic, puncture-proof container like a sharps container or a water bottle. Note the time or set a timer, as another dose may be required. The 4th step is to give chest compressions and/or rescue breaths, depending on what you have been trained to provide. When someone has overdosed on opioids, they may stop breathing, and their heart may stop beating. It is important to get oxygen moving in their body. Your naloxone kit includes a breathing barrier that you can use when giving rescue breaths. The 5th step is to check if naloxone is working. Naloxone usually starts working within 2 to 3 minutes. If the person is not responding, administer a second dose. If using the nasal spray, make sure to release the naloxone into the person's other nostril. If you have access to more than one kit, then keep giving naloxone every 2 to 3 minutes if the person still hasn't responded. If you are providing rescue breaths or chest compressions, continue until the person becomes alert or until help arrives. At any point when the person starts breathing again, put them into the recovery position even if they are not fully conscious. Continue to monitor their breathing. Stay with them and keep checking them until they become more conscious and alert or until help arrives. When someone comes out of an overdose, they may wake up suddenly or slowly. They may feel confused, disoriented, agitated, concerned, or embarrassed. Talk with them when they have become more alert. Provide emotional support and reassurance and explain what has happened. They may experience mild to severe withdrawal symptoms. They may feel sick or be sweating. They may also throw up or soil themselves. Explain that these symptoms will go away as the naloxone wears off in 30 to 90 minutes. Explain that taking more drugs to deal with withdrawal symptoms or to get high will be a waste, as the naloxone will block the effects of the drugs. It can also further increase their risk of overdosing again. Monitor and prepare in case they lose consciousness again as the naloxone wears off. Let them know more naloxone may need to be given if that happens. If paramedics were not called, suggest a trip to the hospital for further observation. Responding to an overdose can be challenging, both emotionally and physically. Make sure to check in with a friend or colleague if you need to debrief after. Self-care is important. Carry your naloxone kit with you at all times. Store naloxone at room temperature and away from light. Leave the spray or ampules in the container your kit comes in. Don't leave it in your car on really hot or really cold days. And lastly, check the expiry date from time to time. We hope you found this video helpful. For more information, please contact the public health unit in your region. Get naloxone, get trained, and together we can save lives.